Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello to the whole world from Unfold with Yasir Khan. Today's show is different show because we are talking about recent conflict which is more heated between Palestine and Israel, and how we can icing, like today's show is icing the heat between Palestine and Israel, and we will talk about those things which are not under discussion nowadays, on which we can speak and we can talk in a better way, and we can attract people that they can think in other side, not only the furious side, not only the bombing side, not only the war side. There are much other side through we can neutralize the situation and we can ice the situation. And today's show is all about this. And today's show is sponsored by Zaltrix Pharmaceutical. They used to say, "We are sharing your health equity." And Tutor Medis, this is UK-based organization. They are serving those students who are suffering in COVID-19. Thank you very much for the both sponsor and COVID, and especially for all the audience of the world. COVID-19 is in its third wave. So please take the preventive measure, wear mask, avoid gathering, and do go for the vaccine. And register yourself in vaccination so that you will be vaccinated. And this is more about not your protection, it's protection of others and your near ones and dear ones. Thank you very much. And today's show, my honorable guest, he's president of Success Systems International USA, by seeking the truth through literature, being student of Master of Siddah, yoga, meditation, applying biomimicry, loving God, honoring the world traditions. You will find a diversity in his personality. Welcome our honorable guest, Krueger, in Unfold with Yasir Khan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
How are you feeling, and what do you say about specifically pandemic like COVID-19? Because I want from your side that people more listen to you as well.
Well, in regard to COVID-19, on the Humanity Rising program, actually was May 13th. We had Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a cellular biologist out of Stanford. In the 1980s, when I first met him, he was a person studying stem cells. And he's one of the premier researchers on that and so on. And he's gone on from there, imagine, because this is a good amount of time from the 1980s. 40 years doesn't feel bad for me, because when you're 94,000 years old, you tend to be able to think time is a little bit different than people who are so young. He has the main way that anything attacks a human being is when you're weak. And stress, the idea of fear, the idea of maybe anger because you're angry at those that don't do this or do that or whatever, compromises your immune system. The best thing that anybody can do is strengthen the immune system. Eat organically. Most foods don't have as many vitamins in them as they used to when they were grown organically. Most of the process sometimes from being grown to being in the market and be cooking it is also to treat things of their vitamins. So there's a vitamin supplementation. Vitamin C is one of the key vitamins in massive doses each day. There's so much to this. I mean, we could talk all day on just this.
No doubt.
Different part of it. So I always stress these things. That's one of the things that Peace Lab does, is we prevent issues from happening. And that's what we get to do for the rest of our lives. Because like having a great education, instead of just a left brain education system, we use both brains. The creative one, the right brain, and the one that actually has the logical kind of mind. And we use both. And then we could actually do so much better in life.
Beautiful. Cut. Back to the topic. Icing the heat between Palestine and Israel. I want you from can you unfold bit history about Palestine and Israel so that people can understand the basis?
Well, the history of it, basically, in the 48, after World War II, Jews had been massacred, had been the Holocaust and everything about it. And they wanted to go to the Holy Land. And there was a big movement to go to Israel. And they did. And they were living pretty well with Palestinians when they were talking and acting like neighbors. Neighbors sometimes have a conflict, but they work it out.
Mm.
And this is the key, is the communication. But
Yes.
when we do things that I call the separation demon, when you separate others, like in America, we had a big problem that there were Trumpers, people who liked President Trump, and the socialistic left, and so on. And so they were angry at each other. And they're, look at what happened on January 6th. And all the other things like, the riots, and there's reason for some riots. People get fed up with being treated badly. And this is what's happened in Palestine. The Palestinians have been treated unfairly, not like you would your brother, because in the Quran and in the Bible, they both have the golden rule.
Yes.
It's not the ones that have the gold rule. That's not the one I'm talking about. The golden rule is treat others the way you would like to be treated. And this is what will change life. When we come at life with integrity and with our heart. Without that, everybody thinks there's all this fake news. Yeah, there's fake news because people are lying through their teeth. Just like they say, there's not going to be a trouble with this pipeline in North Dakota. Well, it's already had spills of more than 20,000 gallons and so on and so forth, polluting the water that people drink. Water is the most important substance on the planet. Without it, fini. And you know how it is during Ramadan, without having water all day.
Yes.
When we fast from water, that's, for many people, the toughest thing to do. Food, you can go weeks without. You can do 40 days and 40 nights without.
Yes.
But water is a different subject. And so when we break the fast in the evening, we drink a lot of water.
Beautiful. Okay, people are just asking me that you are wearing this. I want to tell them that I'm just remembering Yasir Arafat. My name is Yasir too, who was the prominent president, a prime minister of Palestine. So this is in his commemoration, in his memory, Palestine. Okay.
Yes.
Come back to this question. What do you say? What does chopsticks have to do with peace in the Middle East or anywhere else in the world?
Well, chopsticks, and many people have not used them, especially in South Asia. And so to use chopsticks, you have to have two, and it's all in one hand.
Exactly.
It looks like this. There's tension between the two sides. Well, what are the two sides here? It's Palestine and it's Israel. Tension is fine because people are fed. That's how you feed people. There could be tension. We can work out the tension and learn to eat with maybe other ways. I mean, I lived in India a couple of years, and I love eating with my hands because I get to lick my fingers and everything. But we get to live together.
Yes.
I have an identical twin brother. I'm 1 minute older than he is. He likes President Trump. I have a selfie with a guy named Bernie Sanders, which is the opposite of Trump. So we're the yin and the yang. But guess what? The only way the yin and the yang work, imagine a coin. On one side is the yin, on the other side is the yang. It only rolls when it's in balance. It only moves, it only flows, it only allows life.
Exactly.
when it is imbalanced. When you look at Mother Nature, when Mother Nature is imbalanced, things thrive. But when we deplete it of its nutrients, like in '56, I wrote a letter to a mayor of Los Angeles, and his name was Mayor Yordi. And I said, have 2 trash collections, because at one time they were only picking up certain kinds of trash. And you could burn it in your incinerator in your backyard, if the other stuff. But I said, have compostable trash picked up one day, and the next day you pick up the other kind of trash. But bring the compost to the Central Valley of California. And you can then fuel the soil with what it needs. And then we have thriving, growing plants. Like I have a friend that he grows things even better than that through biodynamics and using a Tesla coil in his garden. And he has beets that grow huge and yet are so tasty and stay in your refrigerator fresh for so long. Same thing with lettuce. Imagine lettuce in your refrigerator for 2 weeks, staying crisp instead of just withered up. So we get to be able to allow this communication between the 2 sides of Palestine and Israel, open communication, flowing like water flows instead of having it dammed up. That's what Israel has been doing with the Palestinians. They're in a way damming them up in this little place and not letting them travel so easily. So,
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What do you suggest being a peace keeper and peace preacher? Kurt is renowned for peace preaching. What do you have like preventions for the tension and violence in this current situation? Because day by day this situation is like heating. That recent attack in Masjid Aqsa. What do you say about it?
the big thing is to get the open communication between the 2 sides. It's like you and I are talking. When they talk, they're not fighting.
Exactly.
Bring them together and allow them to be able to have a discourse. But sometimes we need a mediator. It could be a different country person. It could be like at one time, Mother Teresa was probably the most famous peacemaker and bringing about ideas of peace. Get her to be the mediator.
Yes, like Abdul Sattar Eidi from Pakistan. He was like peacekeeper.
Yes. I mean, this is it. Without that discussion, it gets to be disgusting.
Exactly, which is happening right now.
Yeah, and the prevention is having character development taught in schools and in institutions. We're going to have in July on Humanity Rising, the Peace Lab is producing programs for Humanity Rising, which is a big broadcast. It's been going on for almost 270 days. And by the time we do it, it will be 270 days. And it's every day for an hour and a half of some of the top people doing good things around the world in different areas, like donut economics. Donut economics thinks about not only the people in the company and making them profits, but they think about the people working in the company and around the company that are affected by the company and the environment. When we take those 3 areas into account, because it is a system that we're living in, we're not living isolated. Otherwise, we have pollution. Otherwise, we have this. Otherwise, we have that. And it's all negative. But when we get something alive and well, boom.
Right. Kurt, how the youth can bridge this situation? Because both sides of the youth, they have they are both are educated, both have talent. How can we bridge the both countries' youth to mediate, to ice these situations? Because they are confronting. Both youth are confronting because they are watching that they are what do we say? They are attacking our children from Palestine side, and Israel troops are what do you say? is fighting against us. What do you say? How youth can play a role in this situation?
The big thing about youth is they can bug their parents. They can educate themselves well enough to communicate. Look at what this simple little girl sat on steps of Parliament in Sweden, and look at what she did. That simple act,
yes,
started to get other people doing it, and other people, and the more the merrier. I mean, Rahim Fatima, she's a magical young lady. She was on one of our Peace Lab presentations on humanity rising, and she brought that youthful desire to have peace. And so now she's a peace ambassador. So get more and more peace ambassadors, because the Peace Lab only functions with the people.
Exactly.
You are a Peace Lab member when you spread the peace. You don't have to be fully associated with us, and a membership. We don't charge any money to be a member, and so on and so forth. We can use your talent. Like right now, we don't even have a website. We have a place where people can put ideas for bringing peace.
Right.
And it's through the networks, but spread it as
I have a question regarding UNO. What is the role of UNO to ice this situation? Because whenever this heat uprise, UNO kept quiet, and you have seen Muslim countries, OIC, got active, but there is no positive, you can say, outcome from both sides. What do you say? How they can play a role?
The UN hasn't played a role. The UN has stood back. Why? Oftentimes it's because of Security Council approval. Security Council is a dictatorship.
You're right.
The dictatorship of either Russians or the Americans is usually the two opposing sides.
Exactly.
That allows all this trouble, because then it distracts the people in their country from the problems in their country.
Exactly.
This is the separation demon again. It's separating us to think about this thing that really doesn't affect us here. Let the United Nations take care of it. It could be solved very quickly. That's why the United Nations was created.
Exactly.
It's impotent. And if you have an impotent organization,
they can't do things. It's basically hijacked. The same situation is happening in Kashmir, because India went there for the resolution, but they stepped back, and they are crushing people in Kashmir, and other side as well, like Iraq. You talk about Afghanistan, several things happening, same things, and they are putting back their troops after getting defeat from this side. Okay, we have just 2 minutes. What do you say? What we can do, as we are sitting far away, just we are talking. What are the other ways?
Well, the thing is that don't spread negativity.
Perfect.
The dark in Star Wars tries to get you to have fear, or tries to get you to, go to that, because you are then controlled. Always focus on what we want.
Beautiful.
When you look at my Facebook page, I never ever post something against
negative.
I will post something to uplift, to be able to make you think about what you can do.
Beautiful.
When you do. Why should you have me tell you? It's like I was consulting with a person yesterday, an international company that I work with. And I said, well, open this. And she couldn't open it. And then she did. I said, you know what? You open it in a different way. Sure. This simple bottle.
Yes.
It has this top, right? This top is unusual for some people. She happens to be from Bolivia. And so she opened it by taking it apart, instead of just flipping the little side.
Exactly.
So we get to figure things out. we get to use our own intellect. It's inside. I teach a peacemaker meditation. Look up peak performance prompters on YouTube, and it'll have a peacemaker meditation. I could put it in the chat.
Sure, comment box.
But you practice that. What it is that you breathe in. Mentally, we can, when you backward and bring your hands to your heart, you say inside or outside, just move this around. You say peace in everything, everything.
And peace,
peace in everything is peace. It calms the mind down, calms the breath down, and it makes you think about, well, this isn't peaceful. Let's stop for a moment and do this practice. And let's talk about it. Because then we don't fighting against each other.
Beautiful, beautiful. We will close this session by your beautiful talk. Like, if you can't do anything, just spread peace, just spread positivity. If you are using Facebook, post positive things, because it's just reflecting not yourself but your family as well, that from which background you are and from which family you representing. So be careful while you are posting, while you are commenting, and while you are addressing in any webinar, in any show, because if you are spreading positive, it will clean your inner, but as well as the society as well, because you are impacting not only yourself, but impacting the community as well, and representing your country as well, because you are representing some nationality. So it will show, it will cover all the country. Thank you very much, Krueger, for spreading peace, positivity, and unfolded today's topic that is much needed. Icing. We have just sprinkled big pieces of ice. Though we can't neutralize this heat, we can't do big steps, but the responsibility of our side is just to talk positively, is to spread smile. The ideas you shared about the youth of the both countries, they can bridge things. They are well versed. They must teach their parents. So get the conflict over. Go for the positive. Inshallah, Allah will do better. And thank you very much again. Thank you. May Allah bless you. And thank you very much for the people who are watching right now and later on. And do let us know how you find today's show. And inshallah, we will meet tomorrow, same time, same channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Cheers.